你而家落去卡喎，唔係我之後你一落緊喎，仲有邊個Thomas？
我呢個星期三，因為
我試過嚟。
譬如
OK，你都 recording 卡喎，你咁樣卡喎搞，因為搞到開咗佢卡喎，OK 就OK，
譬如在下星期三就咁我哋嗰個專業如果時間可能上我哋可以整呢個Introductory trip 咁樣，跟住都係個範疇嗱，傾應該就難嘅，應該係阿 Pat
我直接喺呢個聽到嘅，開始啦。
即係唔好，因為我最尾兩個星期。
OK。OK，我哋好似10點夠鐘。Okay, nice to meet you. Great that you took part physically, and also to those John via the Zoom. Nice to see you all here. As we are going to start the introductory session now. My name is Benny. I think I would also like to introduce Kemfei. Kemfei is also the deputy of this new subject, and also Thomas. Thomas will be the project assistant. I think Thomas, you can say hello to the student. We also have our advisor. Okay. I think you know our dean, right? He's the advisor of the subjects. So I think today we are going to talk about the InD. Maybe some of you have seen the promotion material, okay? And you see some funny Cantonese, okay? So-called the yok di, jo yok do di. Okay, I think before I start, I think we would like to sort of explain what is the yok, yok di and yok, whatever. So the word yok itself, okay? If you check in the more the sort of proper Chinese, dictionary, and probably you see the meaning like, it represents flourishing, lush, it represents something which is great, okay, prosperity. But also when you get a sort of very enriched, fragrant, those you also have to use the word yok, okay? But in Cantonese, I think this is very native, okay? I think when you guys heard about yok, you will be knowing that the idea of yok is about move, add, go, change, and also some sort of fight, sometimes. Huh? So today I'm going to use 3 separate sections to talk about the subjects. The first one will be what to change, yok乜嘢. The second is how to add, 點喐法. And the third one, if you want to go, okay, some yok. So let's go for the first. What to change? I guess you guys may have heard about Herbert Simon. He has a very famous saying is that design, because we talk about design, right? Design is a course of action aimed in changing what? Changing existing situation to the preferred. Now, I'll show you some example. This is actually one of the photos I took in a restaurant, a very common, local restaurant, and it's a poster saying that okay, if you want to order, you can conduct it, through the mobile or smartphone. It's very common today. It's not special, right? It seems that we prefer. But when you look at the other situation, the situation is actually the guy, the old lady, sitting in the same restaurant, and she's holding the menu, and she wants to order. Okay, but the point is, she don't know that. And this is only one scene that we usually see. But if you are sort of in an MTL or any open spaces, public spaces, you can see people are touching and playing with the mobile phone, and they may not do anything without interacting with each other. And that's actually is another situation that I've took of photos that couples, I don't know whether it's married it or unmarried it, but the male is actually playing the phone, and the girl is like don't know what to do, right? Okay, this is what we call our daily life is often dependent on smartphone technology. And you will see what happened is actually these days, we, not only the European, the so-called Westerner, but also most Asian, particular situation in Hong Kong and China. We have a kind of lifestyle we call immersive. What immersive means that even mobile phone and parents just to go outside with a mobile, right? But in reality, it's not really mobile. People are, sort of closing themselves in the very warm, cozy, room, and then they're playing. Because actually, this so-called mobile phone, it can lead you to the internet, right? Then the internet is a lot of amazing stuff that we can visit. And for that, so actually it creates kind of unreal, enriched social interaction or recreation. So it's kind of fake. And if you look at the figures, Hong Kong has around 1.8 millions of singleton. I mean, singleton is the people who live alone. Okay, now of course, some of them are older people, right? But in fact, majority nowadays for the younger generation, they are also in love with being alone. And you see the figures, and also you see in mainland, it's actually much, much serious than when I'm in Hong Kong. I think it's also the other photos I took recently. And again, this is not something very new. And you see people, taking a stroller, and they're not sort of housing a baby or nursing a baby. It's actually as a pet. This sort of situation you see everywhere. Now, when people are living alone, when people are not thinking about getting married and having kids, if they want to have some sort of a company, and they're quite natural, they that move on and to sort of raising something like pets. Now, if this situation go on, the end result will be there is a prediction of sort of statistic calculation saying that by 2040, right, the age over 65 over will roughly sort of occupy 30% of the kind of population in terms of proportion in Hong Kong, which is quite horrible actually. I'm not talking about 60 or 55. There's even another big chunk of them. So it would be quite a funny society when you walk out, and then see all the street most of the people are sort of elderly, right? Now, if you compare the first photos that I took in the restaurant for design, really for design, this sort of so-called problem of having a better user-friendlier sort of apps for ordering. What we call this is going for the interaction designer, experience, user experience, whatever. It's what we call a simpler problems. Yeah, that design can sort of conceive, that we can deal with. In contrast, with a society, on one hand, there's so many people in love with the phone, and they are satisfied with the kind of life that they actually engage just and playing with themselves. Okay, and whereby that sort of situation will create a kind of fragmentation of the society. It means that people are very self-dependent, it seems, whereby people are not really, getting together so often. The social fabric, has been sort of degrade. And on the other hand, that also engender another problem, which is what we call aging population, is foreseeable. So this sort of problem is unlike simple apps, It's more complicated. It's what we call, confusing, perplexing, rigged problem. If you compare these two differences, now in the past, the school design, our school is very famous on, training designer to deal with what we call the product. Product doesn't mean product design, physical product. I'm talking about product in a sense, which is, if you say website, website product, an app is a product, something that is tangible, something that is intangible, whereby it's only more in the control and focus manner. So this is more the kind of what we call simpler, kind of design compared to what? Compared to those problems that we talk about, the fragmented society because of the so-called technology over dependence, or maybe the later on engendering aging society. How can we deal with the older, aging society in the newer time? So that brings us to the idea, of having developed optional capstone, which is trying to integrate, knowledge of people on, different capacity and ability of the, students from different disciplines. So there are three things mainly. Firstly, it's not about the problem itself. It's about how to define and how to identify so-called a real-world challenge. This is not something that we imagine ourselves. We have to go outside and see and find out. And this sort of challenge could come in two ways. In the new integrated designpreneurship subjects, we said we are, of course, unlike the normal, regular capstone, we encourage you guys to, self-define and, identify the problems, that you think is worth to deal with. Second, this time we try best to offer from the perspective of the supervisor, the tutor group, or from the student design, to refer some interesting challenge for you guys to select. So this is first, challenge, identify challenge. Second, unlike the regular capstone, we do have a two-stage journey. The capstone research report, this is the one now in the semester. Capstone research integrated designpreneurship 1, which is the free credit as usual. And then in the next semester, the work done here will be made use of for the Capstone Project, Integrated Designpreneurship, projects, which is 6 credit. Okay, so this is the two-stage journey. And then lastly, as I mentioned before, it's important, not only product design, advertising design, or environmental design, we just use what we know, but we have to borrow. And there are 3 aspects of integration that we are proposing here. Okay, if you see that this is the field, there are various of the discipline, and this is the timeline. And you'll see that the first, of course, we encourage you to make use of what you amass, what you have learned before in the past 3 years, right? And then so you can use the amassed knowledge and also take up the new one. That's the first of integration, the past and today. The second one is actually by means of making use of the existence of other peers, which is from other disciplines, so that you are not, settle yourself into one narrow route. Okay, you will be able to absorb and share with others. Now, that is not enough, because if we say integrated, means that we are not only dealing with design problem, right? So we'll have the expert, consultant, either from within the school or maybe specific employee from outside, that there will be business, knowledge, engineering needs, and or even social science. So they will be the consultant. So if the project team, engage some problem or anticipate some issue about technical or about business, there will be, people to go and consult. So of course, for doing so, we have to build a kind of framework, right? How to, the way to coach. So imagine this on the top is a design team, right? Project teams. And then we will have what we call the team supervisor. So each team will have one dedicated supervisor, team supervisor. And then there will be also a kind of subject tutor. Means that what subject means that they are tutoring on based on the specific disciplinary knowledge. For example, there will be products, product design student, there will be social design student. We will have those, tutor helping and help to coach this sort of specific, let's say, issue. If there's problems about going into direction of, oh, I'm going to do something about the specific product structure of things, you will have support. Yes, you will have the subject tutor. Lastly, as I mentioned before, expert consultant, okay, from the fields other than design. Now, I just want to briefly introduce you the supervisor, the team supervisor, and also the subject tutor here. Some of them, I don't know whether, maybe some of them will be here. And I noticed that actually our, discipline leader, Stefan from advertising. Stefan? I don't know if Stefan is still here or not. Because he was here. Is he here?
I am.
Hello.
I'm here. Just had to find the buttons. I'm listening. All good.
Nice to have you. Stefan is the tutor, the supervisor before, and he will be advising our subjects, of course. But this year we will have a specific invited part-time position lecturer for this advertising specialist, according to what Stefan informed. And then if you look at product, needs one, but mainly E10, E10 Shin. I don't know if E10 is here or not. He's on behalf of product. And then Roberto, is it Roberto here?
It's not here.
This one is one of the our team teaching team from communication design. And Horace is a very solid practitioner also. He's teaching, but also he's about interiors and everything. And he's presenting and environment time. And of course, don't forget Ken is here. Our beloved instructor and of the social design, and also the deputy coordinator of the subject. And as I mentioned before, there will be a consultant, Dr. Eric from the business side. Thomas, he has been running his own entrepreneurship, for quite some time at his company. And he's actually now doing the consultant for about entrepreneurs. And Dr. Marcus, he's actually our research assistant professor here. And he will be helping us also run a workshop. And this, we are still need to talk to this specific invited guest from the pricing designs, right? So we'll tell you later who is it. And then Clifford. He's the expert in terms of electronic information engineering. So you have those people, The way how we structure, the teaching is as follows. 5 specific ways that we use this, teams of experts and tutor supervisors. The first is workshop, very important because there's something which is new for you guys, other than the kind of discipline knowledge you have. so that we will use either the workshop to reinforce or to introduce new, kind of knowledge for you guys. So that will be mainly conducted by our expert consultant and subject tutor. Second, of course, lectures, seminar. Sometimes we would need to, for example, if we invite people to talk about entrepreneurship or work, sort of use a workshop to conduct a workshop, about entrepreneurship, and you have to give some sort of introduction about what is entrepreneurship, what is entrepreneurs all about. Design clinic. This arrangement has been done also last year. It was really welcomed by the students, so we are going to do it again because this is actually a kind of way that it's casual with the team. The teaching tutor. They not only the supervisor, your team supervisor, or the subject tutor, but all the people will be there and try to sort of interact and listen to your issue and problems. Of course, you need to present something for them, and then they could interact and sort of give you some of their feedbacks and advice. Okay, so this is a way to try to make it more holistic to address your problem rather than very now specific issue. The consultation session, and you guys are seeing better here. I love this pictures. He sent me one of the WhatsApp. So it's not only about the subject tutor, right? As I said, subject means that the design discipline specific, subjects. Those tutors will help you out, but there will be also outside people, right? If there's issue about technical issue about business. Lastly, your team supervisor needs always will sort of take care of the team, of course. So there's some sort of tutorial related to your projects that the team supervisor will sort of go and do. Now, it's a subject that, of course, we try to create opportunity. I would like to show you the history of it so that you know how the opportunity, I would say, grow. Yeah, and this is the first, Q1 kind of integrated, capstone. It was called the Dean's Project. Okay, I've shown you this is actually the one of the project called IoASIS. Maybe some of you have seen it in the exhibition before. And it's really to deal with the COVID-19, how, that was proposing the Hong Kong government or some NGO, Hong Kong government work together to come up with a new way of doing quarantine. So you can see the sort of shop.
We as humans are facing challenges every day. With climate change, pollution, and the pandemic circling us, what will the future of travel look like? Enter ISOASIS, a service design system that aims to redefine what traveling means. Light up your quarantine experience through our design system and experience indoor entertainment like no others. Join us on a journey of reshaping the future of traveling, where we strive to take better care of the environment, of our mental well-being, reconnect with nature, and become a part of a better future. ISOASIS, an oasis in isolation.
Okay, now I'm showing the kind of very quick quality of video, of course, but the project itself is a very, I would say, rich and embracive. And there's also the opportunity of being, in school exhibition, specific exhibition, and you see that there's a variety of levels. For example, the branding itself, some sort of specific design of the environment and the setup. The promotion, the airport, and the product side. This is actually a more kind of holistic way of addressing. And then the Dean's Project changed, to the Integrated Capstone last year. And Now to show you one of the projects. This is really about the new way of working.
Have you ever tried so hard to maintain a work-life balance by speeding up everything in the hopes that it will help you fight for more personal time, but only to fail? During the pandemic, working from home and having to adapt our lifestyle for the unexpected has become the new normal. Pandemic situations certainly has developed drawbacks such as increased isolation and loneliness, which more than 2/3 of employees report difficulty distinguishing work and personal time. This inspired us to design a new way of living as the pandemic triggers a sudden paradigm shift, which brought us into thinking about smart future that designing for future human habitats. We have a lot of questions about what will the future be like and how can we maintain or even create a better work-life balance for our well-being. Funny enough, our research results told us that we are asking the wrong question. Life and work seems to be completely contradictory. In fact, there is never an absolute balance between the two. But by combining home and leisure as a whole, it can benefit as an individual and a collective of a society. We are not asking for achieving work-life balance. Rather, we are asking to have greater control in choosing our own lifestyle with greater autonomy. We've consolidated our research into 4 different layers, from micro to macro. Instead of designing and envisioning an experimental prototype that provides a certain flexibility for autonomy by aligning values with future megatrends and technology adaptation, we present you the answer. To plan this project, we found a place that aligned with the Hong Kong government's vision that they are making the Northern Metropolis an international innovation and technology hub in the Santine Lot Metro development node. We created a mechanism city model that is not to scale or realistic, but rather to demonstrate the general concept of our system design, in which the loop is not limited by the shape of a circle, but with a more organic form to provide a continuous mobility which may intersect different zonings. From the 4 layers, we've developed different features, and the loop will be driven by a conveyor belt just like sushi belt in Japanese restaurants that provokes a new type of spatial experience which moves around people. The answer pod is highly adjustable and developed with flexibility in mind to accommodate both leisure and work activities. The pod contains 4 sets of foldable chairs, 4 sets of foldable tables, and 2 storage modules that may be auto-loaded with various items before the user enters the pod. With the use of extended reality technology, the pod window can be used as a functional display. For the answer pole, it is no longer just a lamppost but smart street lighting integrated wayfinding. Supported by the city's database, it can be used for wayfinding prediction, display alarm, and control lighting. The data collected from the lamppost sensor will be an attribution to the IoT system for personalization and improvements for facilities. It has several modes for displaying various types of information, as well as connected lighting and transit support by XR technology. On a more intimate level, everything is connected for optimal sharing and service economy. Data decentralization plays a huge part with the wide implementation of blockchain technology, which we would like to build as a backbone for each resident's profile to ensure data privacy and authentication. For the conveyor belt city, there are 3 layers regarding different modes of connectivity, including the underground for trains, ground level for normal traffic, and the experience-based podium level. Each loop is designed to be duplicated and expandable for future scalability, and we have chosen the below area for our experimental prototype. To provide appropriate lighting to the ground, multiple hollows are put on the podium. For better integration and to encourage people to exercise, 3 installations will penetrate different levels. Artificial water fountains offer calming environments that bring people closer to nature. The light piazzas allow for street activities that connect people together. Furthermore, the Instapod can park linearly on large green area with smart paving. The hubs are also intended to serve as a public pavilion, giving privacy and meeting space for pods. So, we wish to know, what does your version of smart future look like? This project is a collaborative effort. We are a team, Team Immerse. And thank you to everyone who has supported us.
Okay, I just want to show you this because it shows you the complexity, but also the kind of the so-called spectrums of time, right? So it could go very far, but of course, I mean, this is only example. By the way, Professor Lee, our deans come, in and join us, and would like to say hello to all of you guys. So let me invite him. Hello, Professor Lee.
Hello.
So yeah, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hello, my student. Hello, my tutors. I mean, our colleagues. Thank you for organizing this orientation about Integrated Capstone Project. I'm those people who initiate this new subject, Integrated Capstone Project, with the belief that design problem becomes so complex enough so that any one single designer, any one single discipline can handle, okay? Imagine, you just saw that Benny Leung introduced 2 past projects. Look at that question, okay? How can we enhance the future travel experience among the coronavirus? What is a future city like, okay? That kind of big question doesn't belong to any one single specialism. It's communication design, it's advertising design, it can be a product design, it can be E&I, it can social design, everything. So service design and so on, okay? So that, we try to set up this class. So team of our students from different specialism, they form the team to answer that really complex design problem, okay? So each specialism, they learn from each other, okay? For example, in the stage of brand communication design, okay? The one from communication design specialism, they can teach others, their colleagues, okay? And when they do something like a more service design, social design, and those people, then they can teach their colleagues, okay? So look at why we do this, okay? Look, once you graduate, there's no chance one single designer keep staying their job in the specialism what they learn, okay? Imagine, for example, one of our students majoring in product design, they got the job in product design, but as time goes by, they never asked to design only product design. Sometimes, the senior people ask him to design something, product design from service design, product design from interaction design, communication design, brand design, and those things, okay? Then how can we school of design, we need to make our students experience that kind of the more interdisciplinary project, okay, in advance, so that after they graduate, they can survive in such a dynamically changing environment, new environment. In my generation, okay, once you become a product designer, you can easily spend lifetime to be only product designer. But things are different now, okay? I guarantee you, even if you specialize some discipline, you cannot keep that discipline for a long time, okay? You need to be ready, okay? So that's an integrated interdisciplinarity, okay, you can experience. Having spent 2 years for offering integrated capstone project, now it becomes third year. In third year, we are even more challenging. The plus interdisciplinary collaboration, we plus one more keyword, entrepreneurship. Okay. So designer become more and more involved in entrepreneurship. Okay. For example, Airbnb, one of the co-founder from designer. Gogo Van in Hong Kong, co-founder is designer. Okay. Why designer? Designer is so excellent discipline who can be innovative, human-centered, they're holistically synthesizing, visualizing, okay, substantiating. That's what the core competence of designers. So we would like not to stop just concept design for bunch of markup and panel. We would like to even more challenge to become business model. Okay, what kind of things? Okay, I think that's the future of design. Okay, so still, in a sense, we have a lot of issues, small issues, about grading and teaching and so on, so on. Okay, but eventually, I think you can get far more than that. The small problems. Okay, I hope that you can experience. I hope that you can open your mind about new mindset about design. Okay. Thank you again, Professor Benny Leung and all other staff members who with us and who have been dedicating themselves for this integrated capstone project. Thank you. Please, Benny, please don't forget, invite me again. Give me about 30 minutes, okay? So that I can have a lecture about my point of view over the integrated capstone design, okay? Thank you, thank you.
Thanks for coming, Professor Lee. See you.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Okay, thanks, Professor Lee. So I'm going to carry on about the rest of the idea of how there's possibility of expanded possibility. Now for the INC, so unlike the first BEAM project, you see that actually this time we have organized exhibition, right? This is not in school, it's really public, it's really in the center corner of Hong Kong, the central market. I don't know whether any one of you have been there, but at least you see on the team and the supervisor for the integrated capstone last year were there. It was a very amazing activity. And also, not only that, and integrated capstone last year, with the help of Alvin, also Camfrey and Thomas, now they are now preparing publication of a book. So this is important as a way, as a record of your contribution, of your opportunity to share, Hong Kong people and even peoples around the world about what you see and what sort of problem maybe things want to deal with, what would be the possibility. Okay, that's important. Now, of course, the new time, now INC, Integrated Capstone, and move on to this year, the coming year, we call Integrated Designpreneurship. Other than exhibition, we want to do it a bit further to promote your idea, to bridge it to a kind of possibility of startup. So this time when you come here, when you come into this subject, it's not only about a project of graduation. It's a kind of project potentially, for yourself to build a team, to sort of starting something, for of course something that you believe, right? So like last year, actually, the first thing is we do have specific budget earmarked. There will be around 30,000 per team to support the prototyping. And some student actually asked us before and said, why only the integrated capstone have this sort of money. Why they not regular Capstone does it? Listen, you guys, if you are taking part in this, it's because you need to work out something to show, you know, to pitch, right? So that's why the money is using really for the purpose of you to make convincing prototype, to sell the concept. Because in the end, there are this year there will be two opportunities for you guys to realize your career, your coming career. Number one, of course, we are talking to polyu microfund, and probably if possible, we'll particular set up a kind of microfund really for design and maybe only for integrated designpreneurship. Now that will be under discussion. Not solid promise, but I will try my best, and Ken Frank will do the best also. So we'll try to deal with this. The second, this year is fortunately we also have company is interested in sponsoring. Okay, China Chen, right? China Chen is a very local, locally low, but because of the company change of their sort of vision, they are now moving more towards the social, for not for profit alone, but for benefit also kind of projects. So they promise that there will be project coming in, but also they will kind of select, the winning teams to become, their intern, so that the next job, next part will be possibility of employment, right? So this is another possibility. And of course, I think this is the publication is also an interesting thing, and that will be a kind of job for me, to think about, and also for you guys. So I would like to have a kind of creative session to discuss about what kind of promotion you can do your projects. So we are not just thinking about books, right? So we will think about something which is really meaningful and impactful. Okay. So this is the three things. So you see that the opportunity grow. Unlike that every year we build on top of the last year. Now, if you think that that's something that I would like to do, I still need to warn you. Okay, there are some sort of conceptual differences in your mind, and maybe some foreseeable challenges that you have to prepare. This, the new integrated, integrated designpreneurship subjects, has got the second one, Capstone Project. It's a 6th credit, right? Some of the students may need to take 9 credit in the regular Capstone. As the first semester, Capstone Research Integrated Designpreneurship is actually or will be the same, that actually is seen as a one subject of the regular Capstone. So that is a kind of situation that you need 3 more credit, right? So any student and the regular Capstone, if you will require 9 credit, that means you need to take 3 more credit. Okay, but for that, I think we have sort of think about one of the solutions for you guys, and Kenfei have been sort of kind enough to really start up a new elective, which will be running more or less concurrently, right? Concurrently with the Capstone Project, so that the design of the deliverables of this subject or this elective will try to go as much as close to the let's say the requirement of the InD, Capstone Project InD2, so that which try to unload the kind the workload of the student who need to take 9 credit. And of course, other than this specific elective, you can still go to pick other elective which you think suitable. Of course, you need to bear in mind that you have 3 more credits, workload. Now that's first thing. Okay, second.
Benny, excuse me, Benny. May I ask a question?
Yes.
So maybe we could have a quick show of hands in the room or online. Any advertising students here at the moment from advertising design, just to get a bit of an idea, because for other students that's not necessarily relevant. But if they are advertising students in here, who usually have 9 credits, please come and talk to me on this. Yeah, I can talk to you through the process of this. Because we have been working hard, and particularly Kampai and Penny, to make this work for everyone. Yeah, so that everyone can be invited in this, advertising as well. But is there anybody from advertising here today? Advertising design, year 3 going? Show of hands, please. In the room? Nope. Okay, that means I will talk to my advertising design students then. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Stefan. Thanks. So I think maybe that because it's only the first round of the promotion, there will be another round. So something about the reflection, I just want to show you as the positive part. Of course, you see why people think that it's more enrich, real talk, okay, from different perspectives. Other people see the sign of possibility. Also seeing that there is a component of understanding business rather than design. Some of them seeing that this is more close to the real life situation. For sure, actually, of course. I mean, if you work outside, you know that you will not work alone. You work with a team. And then it's kind of the skill of communication whatsoever. The way that how the research, the way that how the sort of design could be done, it's not only a solo thing. Now this is the positive, but you have to be aware of the negative, right? Oh yeah, integrate that, right? Integrate, but easier. One person, you take care of your own time, you take care of your own will. But when you need to do integrate, you have to do a lot of communication, right? How do you deal with that, right? Teaming, schedules from different disciplines, for sure. And also, so-called, we have a team of teachers, right? So you will be wondering, who to listen. Now, for the first two, I have to say that we try to sort of deal with it. We're introducing team management, team building, workshop, so that to give you some idea how to deal with this sort of situation beforehand. So that's one way of doing it. But anyway, we're going to discuss about the tutor aspect later. But this is actually the challenge that people are aware of. And of course, workload, right? Yeah. And then someone said, "Oh, how about the free rider? Those try to lay back and not work." It's not possible this time because we know this is the issue. We have a kind of peer assessment based on, but also we also deal with the team's sort of way of dynamic also during the company thing. And of course, teamwork together. There's a tight time schedules for presenting. Workload. We have to make things, testing it, prototyping it. So it would take time for you guys to prepare. So don't only think about, oh, this is something, but there's always some challenge. One student mentioned about it. He said, "Hey, it seems that everything's so integrated. Where's my discipline? So maybe I'm doing the whole holistic solution, right? But then I may my discipline specific, output may be shined away. Okay, but I think you have to understand the differences of this integrated designpreneurship or integrated Capstone before. It doesn't mean that we want you guys to just produce your own, for example, you're from environment design, only make interior, I don't know, urban stuff or that. No. We have to see whether that a solution, a holistic solution, aimed at a holistic solution, means that solution solve the problem that you define, or the kind of opportunity that you define. So go for it, but not because that you are from certain discipline that you have to, or go to do exactly what you do. If that's the case, this is not integrated, right? This is not the meaning of it. So be aware of this. If you're still interested, then you can sign up. But for signing, before you sign up, I have to tell you about the number of students that are taking. Last year, it's a bigger team, okay? But because we want to sort of keep control about the quality, we'll try to minimize the number. We will start that. This is the quota 16, okay? Around 4 to 5. We don't want to mix a lot of people into a team. We want to make a reasonable combination. And also, of course, you need to have time to mingle and know each other and try to form a team. So that will be the initial thought. If you want to sign up, Thomas is now in the Zoom. You can write down this, copy down this email address. Or maybe Thomas, you can also type it in the chat room. So that you can actually keep your full name, English name. If you have Christian name or English, you can put it down there. Your student number, if you don't mind, your phone number, because it's easier for us to sort of put it into a WhatsApp group or. Okay, so now this is what I'm going to talk about. I think it's time to address any question that you have. Specific question, anything you would like to ask. It can be, maybe we can also joke.
Hi, everyone. Just want to say you can also type your question in the chat room.
Yeah,
you're shy to talk.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Question in the room? No? I mean, anything that irritated, anything that you think worth, sort of ask, doubt about the subjects, about things maybe after the subject, before the subject. As I said, this is only the first session. We're going to arrange another more casual one. Then we will ask those who are interested to come into the room and sort of talk to us and maybe you can introduce yourself. We're going to promote this session soon. And then there will be one more round that we have the tutors, all the tutors and peers, and this maybe giving you some idea of the discipline and things like that. So, any question? Don't be shy now, as Ken Fake suggests, you can type in here. Yes, good. Your peers just give a question saying that when will be the deadline, right, for sign up. We talked before, right? We said there's ad drop, but is it the sign up also, right? Sign up, ad drop. 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks from the first day of 29th of August, right? 29th of August is the first day of the new semester. So from then on, 3 weeks means 29, 12, should be 19, right? 19th of September will be the last day. Will be the last day. The reason is actually last year we even have a longer, right? We have 4 weeks, so but we want to shorten because it's a bit long and it's a little bit unfair for students. Rather disciplined. Okay, good question. This one.
Of course, I think it's always good to say if you, I won't say if you absolutely make up your mind, but say if I have some interest in joining this, or say I have 50%, 50% join either regular Capstone or Integrated Designpreneurship, then of course we will highly recommend you to say come to the club, not just come to the briefing session, but also after the new semester, join the class and to taste what is the learning style, what are the expectations of tutors, And also we will have some workshops, I think, in the first month, so that you will know how we approach those questions or those issues that we want to discuss. So I think that more concrete experience will help you understand more what we are going to do in the integrated capsule designpreneurship, this new subject. Because it's difficult to imagine. I think somehow if firstly, I think we always do our capstone in our own studio, right? So it's quite difficult to imagine how to work as a team. And it's even more difficult to imagine how to work with other discipline students as a team. So my suggestion is you try to join more because you have nothing to lose, right? So you can join more coming seminars, workshop sessions, so that it will help you to make this decision.
Okay. Any question? Yes.
Just to ask, like last year, because each group is given a topic, so is it a great topic to continue with their research? And so I would ask, like, how this year is going. Is this continue like last year, or we can decide on our own direction?
Last year, as far as I'm going to become, I also take part in the first research, capsule research integrated capsule, right? Last year, actually, the given so-called the big given scope is a kind of scope, right? It's about the Sustainable Development Goal, SDG. So under this, students are free to explore, right? But I mean, for me, I think it's quite free. But this year, as I told you before in the slide, there are two major paths for you to define the so-called the challenge, right? The first part is you yourself as a team need to sort of review what you have done before, maybe go out and find out what happened to Hong Kong, or maybe even bigger than Hong Kong. I don't know. But then you need to propose, and of course, this way of proposal will set up a kind of I would say mechanic for you to submit your proposal, because then still the team have to see whether this will be feasible for a team like you in this sort of size, whether too big or too small. So it give you some guidance, right? This is one way. So you will be able to do your sort of define your project. This is one part. The other part is actually, as I said, fortunately this year that we have a sponsor. We'll have a company coming in for giving a specific challenge. But that specific challenge is also, I would say, has a theme, maybe a theme under that would be 3 sub-themes. They haven't designed yet, and once you design, I think I will sort of inform you. And so it's still, okay for you to explore within that so-called theme, okay? So I guess 2 parts, that means you guys have more flexibility than last year, and also more opportunity than last year, because you can go for entrepreneurship. Means I would like to work within a company, under a company that I become a small task force or small whatever, that I would do something different. Or you want to set up your own, you try to go for the big, to fight for the startup, universal fund. That's also possible.
Now we have 2 questions in chat room. So first coming from Stefan. Stefan asks whether 16 is the maximum number of this IND. And the second related question is the student asks, what would happen if we have not enough or too many students to join IND?
Honestly, I don't know what is too many. Like 16 is the number that we think is sensible, because we can break maybe four people, a team that 4 project teams. Unlike last year, we have 7 teams, and there's a lot of more coaching work, a lot of things that we do, but also have to make sure that the quality is there. So we will start 16. We try not to increase, but if there are more students sort of sign up, then we will start to pay our part of doing some sort of scanning, screening, and maybe we'll see about, if say 16, maybe we can increase to 18 or so. And then we'll try to balance the number of disciplines, right? So we won't say there are over, for example, there are a lot of product design there. If there are 40, 50 students sign up, and then there are, over 20 of them are product design, then we'll say, okay, we only allow, the certain number of product design. Then there will be also a ceiling, for discipline. For example, we set out 6, right? No matter what kind of discipline that you belong to, we said, okay, 6. If we are oversold, 16. Of course, if the situation is below 16, of course we need to allow 1 or 2 oversold, right? So I hope I answer Stefan's question, right? So 6 for per discipline if the demand is higher than 16, right?
So what if we don't have enough students, say less than 5, or we don't even have enough students form a group? So what would happen?
You mean only 5 students join this sign up?
The student is actually just if we don't have not enough students.
Not enough. It depends on if it's only 4 or 5. Of course, don't worry. It's not possible for us to have only one team, with those invaluable tutor results. But I mean, 16 under 16 and 14 or so, well, still, but not less than, So we still go on, because if we can form 3 teams, we can still go on. Okay. Of course, it's a very hard decision for students who used to study their own discipline. I just want to, honestly, my style and template style is, we don't want to do it as a kind of very top-down way of doing it. We want you guys to go through a journey that you believe and also have fun with it. But of course, fun is also have a tough time. Playing hard, chewing hard, play hard. So I hope that we will have an interesting journey rather than just submitting assignment to school and getting the credit. This is not the goal of this. Okay. So any other question? You're welcome. We are. We are not that official. Okay, come on. Although I'm not young, Kemp's really young. Mentally, I'm very young.
Physically, yeah.
And I hope that you like our first promotion, Yok, right? So that Yok is actually from Kemp. It's really nice. I find it very interesting. Yok. Any other question? It seems like we force you to have questions. I think it's not, it's okay, because I think as I said, we will have another round. And for sure that will be more casual, we can have more fun. No more question, right? So we actually record this session, and so if you want to review it, you can have it. I think we need to, Thomas have it stored in the cloud, so we can sort of find a way, a platform that we can share online. Okay, so thanks for coming, guys. If you want to take up challenge, see you again. Okay, cheers. Yeah. Bye-bye.
好多 C 同埋講落去好似幾個 Andy 啊。